Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Virche Evermore, continuing on Coffee's route, and shit's hitting the fan. I mean, what else is new? I feel like it's been hitting the fan for a couple of parts now, but like, just keeps hitting the fan. I don't know, he keeps tossing the shit, but Jesus, stop throwing the shit at the fan, guys. Anyway. The violence ended, but Adolphe was captured as a hostage with his arms bound to prevent me from escaping. At least he's not dead. And Unko's not really dead because he's immortal, but he's, like, not doing so hot. The residents then brought me down the path toward the center of the country, all while expressing their worship of me. It's really kind of funny that they went from, like, oh, this girl sucks, she's like dead, to like, oh, save us, death! Like, you know what, fuck you. As we left the area, Lucas saw us off in silence, still holding the sack with Unko's body inside. It's probably going to take him a while to heal from whatever Lucas did to him. The royal guard appeared, hearing a report of my capture, then led us to the castle we once infiltrated. And this is where we see Mother? Or whoever the sponsor is? And, are we going to find out? Come on, come on. The anxiety is high! Adolphe was left behind at the Institute while I was led to the audience room. The royal family that determined the fate of the country looked down at me from ornate chairs as I was forced to kneel before them. So this is the Lycoris saint that our supporter mentioned. An ordinary girl apart from her hair color, it seems. I looked at everyone with caution. From their demeanor and the tone of their voice, even I could understand that their announcement was just a lie. Father, this fake flower saint is the reason we'll be able to have immortal bodies. Should you at least show her some fake gratitude to match? Her voice sounded awfully familiar. At last we'll be free from the curse and be able to live forever without aging. I looked up to see a woman with a veil over her face sitting next to the man I believed was the king. Her body, her hair color, and her voice, everything about her was the same as someone I knew very well. I mean, like, I'm assuming it's because they're related, not because it's supposed to be her, you know? No, it can't be possible. She didn't notice me looking at her as she giggled elegantly. Because, like, it's technically her niece, right? Because isn't the king would have been Catherine's, I use air quotes around that, brother? So this is her niece, so royal fan, like, it could have run in the like, she has, you know what I mean? Like, you could be like, oh my god, you look just like your niece or your aunt or, like, your cousin, or, you know what I mean? Like, family doesn't mean your genetics are going to look exactly like your parents. You could look like your grandparents. You know what I mean? I wasn't sure if she was just pretending not to know me, or maybe she just looked awfully similar. As I looked on in confusion, now then, Lycoris saint, because, like, what other woman have we met aside from, like, Nadia, that we would be like, we've met her out and about? We've never met her. You know what I mean? It would just be she looks like Salome. Because I can't... We've never met another woman in this game, so... Aside from, like, woman A or prostitute A, you know what I mean? But, like... You'll have the honor of serving us so that we can finally overcome death without aging. Oh, that was the king. Whatever, their voices are all mixed up, it doesn't matter. The king brought out a book. He then went on to tell me the unreasonable fate he had in store for me. It was a journal left behind by the Drifter, which they had robbed from a certain family. Flowers in the whatever family, such as the Higanbana and Lycorises, possessed a biochemical that caused allelepathy. You know that. We're getting back into terms that I can't read. Like, what's the... It's Amaryl something I could do when there's lots of C's and A's and E's, and I don't know how you're... And are the A and the E supposed to be like the smooshy one? Like, you know... Encyclopedia. I don't know, but anyway. This suppressed nearby plant growth and kept away pests and harmful microorganisms. There was also a unique effect that attracted specific compounds from the soil and the air. In other words, the Lycorises weren't flowers of misfortune at all. Their allelopathic, whatever, effect, I can't. that actually protected the country from toxins, which were the true source of the curse. Telepathic. Just, there's a lot of L's in that. A little. An anemone. Don't hurt yourself, kid. The flowers are protecting the country by absorbing the toxins found in the soil? And Dominique is a different person, anyway. Indeed, and you are unique in that you were born in that black field of flowers. In other words, similar to the lycraces, you were born with allopathic power. Like fucking Nemo trying to say an anemone. Power to absorb toxins from the soil. This was made clear when we examined samples of your blood that Boro brought back to us. With that, the man pulled out what looked like a medical file from the hospital that contained information about my parents. And now we're finding out all the stuff that we found out before. It said they committed suicide in the licorice field while my mother was pregnant with me. He calmly read from the file that my parents were weak in health and that I was born with mutated genes due to my environment. By using your power, it will be possible for us to remove the toxins contaminating our genes, so our resident expert says. Or so our resident expert. Me? I'm supposed to be a licorice noirge that weakens the effects of the curse? Indeed, I was surprised by the discovery myself. I think we all were, to be fair. Was like, that was honestly probably the last thing I was expecting when the game brought that up. Like, she's like a plant girl hybrid. You're like, I didn't see that one coming. So. To think that our savior would be born in the same place where we disposed of that abominable woman. The young king laughed heartily, saying that I was human licorice noirge, but I was a human. They say young king, but I'm reading him like he's old, but that's okay. So the reason those around me died from the curse, and the reason Eve's face was burned in that fire, everything, it was all because of my ability to absorb and emit toxins just by breathing. Science had proven that I was deaf. That alone was a truth horrible enough to make me want to kill myself, but my mind stopped short of madness, so we're gonna end up, the point they're gonna get to is cloning me and burying me alive. I needed to restrain myself so that Adolphe would remain safe as a hostage, and because a certain doubt came to mind. These people, none of them seemed surprised or concerned when that book was read and the truth behind the curse was made known. On the contrary, they understood everything. It was as if they knew every part of the book already and simply recited from it as though it was nothing special. Suddenly, an image of what the queen left behind in that diary returned to mind. You should feel honored, girl. You and the undead monster that Boro captured will both serve as the foundation for fulfilling our long-cherished wish of eternal life and youth. The curse had been connected to the royal family from the very beginning. The audience all shook with the enthusiasm of the royal family's applause. Okay, I hope they're going to tell you why, because, it's like they knew. They've done that. Okay, yeah, but why? What was the purpose? Why did they curse everyone, including themselves? You know what I mean? Like, what did they do? I mean, they said it was something to do with war or whatever, so it was like, oh, the royal family, and, this was, the results of, you started shit with some other country, and then that resulted in toxic soil. So this is kind of indirectly your fault. Well, but, it's not like they were like, ha ha ha, ha, let's poison the soil and kill all these fuckers. Oh, wait, that's going to kill us. It's not like they did it directly. It was a result of a consequence of their actions, basically. You know what I mean? But the fact that they knew about this and didn't do anything, and they were just like, yeah, let Cyan have his way and we'll be relivers and stuff. It's like, kind of confused as to why they wouldn't, especially if Catherine was like, look, we can figure out the answer and get rid of the curse. I'm assuming it really is more there. They were like, no, but then if we know the answer to them, we'll have to tell them that it was our fault, and then they're going to be mad at us. So let's just pretend that it never happened. It's like, you can still cover that up. And you can be like, we have no idea what caused this curse, but we have worked tirelessly and we have found answers for you because we are just wonderful. And you should worship us even more because we are great and we've figured out the answers. I know, aren't we amazing? Without, you could still cover up the fact that it's all your fault. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So, like, because that's the kind of shady douchebags they are. So, like, of course, people wouldn't second guess it. They'd be like, oh my god, the royal family's so amazing. Look what they found the answer. Oh my god, I know, right? And we'd be like, we still have no idea what caused it because it was so far back in history. And unfortunately, all the documentation's been lost. Because let's be real, like, there's so many things that we don't know the answer to. You're like, why in the world was this the way it was? And everyone's like, I don't know, documentation's lost or there was none. We're just guessing. But there could be someone who's like, I know exactly why, because of my father and my grandfather, my great 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 who passed this story down. I know exactly fucking why, but I ain't gonna tell you that it was our family's fault, because like, fuck that shit. You know what I mean? But you're just used to like, well, sometimes answers are lost to history and reasons and things, but all we know now is we figured out how to get rid of it. But like, they never did that because they were like, what, too hell-bent on covering it up? Which is just kind of fucking stupid. But then again, I guess that's the whole point, is even Adolphe asked, are they all fucking stupid? And the answer is yes. Yeah, okay. I mean, if that's what we're going with, that they're like, they're just shady lying dumbasses. Okay. Usually shady dumbasses are like a little more conniving, but these people are just morons. Okay. All right, I'll take it. Anyway. So I'm just curious how they're going to spin that, so. I kept hearing them talking about eternal life and eternal youth, but along with time travel, those were miracles that had not been accomplished by either science or acts of God. Well, okay, so they probably could figure out the curse, but that's maybe that's it. Yeah, sure, we could find the answer and lift the curse, and then we could all live really old and die, but Scion keeps us alive forever. So the king has been the king for fucking ever. Since he killed Catherine, right? So why would he want to find a cure and then grow old and die when he could just stay the king for fucking ever? All right, that answers that question. I don't know why I was like, why in the world why would they want to cover it up? They could still cover it up. Be like, duh. Okay, listen, I'm in the presence of the royal. Apparently, I inherited some of their dumb assery rubbed off on me right now. I was like, duh, okay, right. But now they're willing to do it because they know if they can, like, because Anko is immortal. So, hey, then we can cure everyone. They can grow old and die, but we don't have to. Gotcha. Okay, right. Despite their apparent confidence, wait. I thought you were going to use me to break the curse and save the people. They were only thinking of themselves. Nothing from their previous announcement was brought up. I mustered the strength to speak up, but they only blinked in response. Are you a fool? The curse will only be lifted for the royal family. We cannot allow commoners to be freed from the curse. Okay, that's even shadier. Or we'll lose the leash that keeps them obedient. What else could be more motivating than the fear of death? The woman tilted her head in a sweet way. What? What are you saying? These people, they had no interest in lifting the curse. Instead, they wanted to use it to exploit the people of the country. And what's worse is, like, I guess they found a way to keep themselves alive and immortal, using me and Anko. Everybody else now is subject to the curse again because they destroyed all of Sion's research, and Sion is dead, and all of that's been destroyed. So, because they also didn't like the rules that were put in place that Catherine and Sion agreed on, blah, 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 to, like, help for the benefit of the people. Because before that, the royal family was going to use it for themselves and basically use it against the people. And it's like, no. We were using this for the good of everyone. It's not just for you, you selfish motherfuckers. And so they didn't like that, but they had no choice. They were stuck with it. But now that Sion's quote-unquote dead, everything's been destroyed, all the machines and everything, they're right back where they started. But they have an answer to their own problem. So Wow, they are awful! I wish they had sprites so we could hate them more. It would just make it better when we kill them all. Someone's gonna kill them all, right? Please, come on, come on. Like, she's a goody two-shoes. I know you were gonna, like, kill the mob, and, like, fine. Whatever, they were bamboozled too. Alright, whatever, fine. Yeah, maybe you were right and you shouldn't have killed those fuckers. But you could kill them. You could kill all these guys. Breathe on them or something. Just get angry and emit toxins. She toxin girl out. You know, like She-Hulk. You know, like Hulk out. You know what I'm saying? Just, come on, plant girl. Do something. Pollen them with poison. Whatever, you know? Anyway. Instead, they wanted to use it to exploit the people of this country. That was why they kept the truth hidden. It made sense now why they assassinated the Queen for her investigations, and Cyan for trying to create stronger relivers. Unbelievable. It does also explain, I mean, it does give you more insight into them wanting to kill Cyan now. Because before it was like, you were like, why are you trying to assassinate the man who created this? But then it was more like, well, they just hate him, and they think he's a douche. And they don't like that he tells them no and makes them follow rules. So you're like, okay, fair. Totally believable in that, like, what they've ever given us, where you're like, you know, Cyan's like, I don't let them, they can kiss my ass all they want, and I'll still tell them to go fuck themselves. And you're like, yeah, that would be why they hate you. But now we know even more why. Like, there's an added depth to it, you know, which is even more sinister, but at least before, the surface level kind of answer we had was, yeah, okay, sure, totally believable, you know? The royal family is rotten to the core. I grew up hearing that from Mother throughout my childhood, as well as from whispers around the orphanage. I had heard of their tyranny, which extended to the Royal Guard soldiers who carried out their will through violence. There was a reluctant part of me that still wanted to see them as the rightful rulers of this country. A part that believed they might protect their people in the event of a crisis. Girl, release some toxins. I know she doesn't know how necessarily to do it, but you know you're capable, so will it. But the reality was that they cared for no one's interests but their own. As if I weren't there, the king and the princess began speaking as if singing. It was all worth it to invest in that perverse man's genetic experiments. Since there was no progress for so long, I wondered whether our dreams would die as mere fantasy. Experiments? The king laughed at my curiosity.
Since your death is imminent, I suppose I can tell you as a parting gift. For decades we've sought a form more permanent than humans or relivers. We funded experiments that would go beyond science contributions and created the perfect life form.
Oh, and create, sorry. Not created.
Our goal has always been to resist the effects of the curse and achieve immortality, surpassing even those of other countries. What follows that immortality is absolute power.
Surely you must have heard about these plans and the experiments conducted to make it happen. Even though I didn't ask, they were carried away by excitement and explained further. Yeah, leave it to villains to monologue. They're like, experiments? And 3 hours later, everyone's had time to get their plans in order, do everything, bust in here and punch them in the faces, and everybody I'm like, cool. I mean, that's how good guys win, is because villains monologue. I don't need a villain origin story, because I monologue like one, don't I? Do. Oh well. First, we needed to do away with Cyan for fighting against the curse and not obeying our commands. But killing him would be meaningless if we died before obtaining absolute power. To put it another way, as long as another genius cooperated with us, we could get rid of that Cyan once and for all. You're just jealous because he didn't find you attractive. And he thinks you're a dumbass. She explained that they had finally found a way to create a new genius to replace Cyan, one who could be controlled. By combining Cyan's memory data with others, we can implant false memories into a new scientist who will obey our every order. They stole Cyan's memory data. I don't think that they just took his, like, data on memory. I think they took his actual memory data, like Cyan's backup data. Like, I feel like that's where they're going here. Not like, hey, it's really hard because your memory data, it's not like you're saying the documentation I created on the subject of memory. It's my science memory that I have backed up for when I need to become a reliver. They took me. They took a copy of Cyan. Oh, fuck. Did Jean put that in Mathis? Oh, dear God. There's a little Cyan in everybody, isn't there? That's probably the only way to get a little... Cyan's like, did you want a little bit of me and you? And you're like, I don't think you and I are thinking of that phrasing in the same way. I'm thinking of something dirty and awful, and you're just thinking of putting your memory into me, and again, that's not a euphemism. Like... Oh, so Cyan's not really dead then, because somebody's got a little piece of him somewhere. If you think about it, oddly, weird. Oh. This filthy prostitutes provided enough cells for us to create a unique homunculus into which we can download the data. Oh my God, they really did put Cyan into Mathis. Is that what we're getting at? Voila, a new puppet we won't need to flatter or appease. No, a new genius entirely. Destroying the Reliver facility was just the beginning. We plan on having our fake Cyan rebuild Reliver technology. After all, we wouldn't want to rely on that other one as a replacement, would we? The king continued, saying that they already had the technology at hand to create the genius they needed.
Using the repulsive man's genetic mutation technology, the fake Cyan will create new technology far superior to that of Relivers.
So they haven't put Cyan in anyone, but they have some... Oh my God, what? What? Oh my God. What? That's all. That's what?
A body that will neither age nor die. An enhanced vessel for life that's entirely our own.
Oh my God.
However, this still required an element of a miracle, or so our progress came to a halt. But things took a drastic turn after you summoned that immortal monster. With that monster's flesh and blood, we can create bodies impervious to the curse that will never perish.
The only person who knew he was immortal was Salamanders. There was only one obstacle remaining. Overcoming the toxic genetic contamination, which will be accomplished through your sacrifice. We can now retain our memories and emotions. We can even retain the fear of death that we felt with the loss of Reliver technology. And they would do this by using the complex emotion of love. The memory bank experiments done on those test subjects will make it possible for us to transfer emotions. I mean, the good outcome of all of this is they figured out how to transfer the emotions of love. Cyan would have been able to figure that out if he gave a fuck. But they got that, so that's a good thing, I guess. 99% of this is horrible, awful, no good, very bad shit, but 1% of it's okay, right? So we gotta look at the bright side until someone saves us.
Oh, this is gonna go bad. We have everything in our hands now.
And it's all thanks to you. The commoners may refer to you as Death, but to us, you're the saint who brought us our well-deserved fortune. The king and the princess spoke happily about what was a tragic situation for the country.
Once we achieve eternal youth and life, we'll never again be threatened by any genius that may be born in the future.
Eternal youth and life, the ability to never age or die, a form of technology that the Revopois family seeks to establish by first creating a replacement version of Cyan, who can then create a new life form through genetic engineering. Well, Cyan's not really dead, I guess, then? Oh, good. This is just... I'm trying to look at the bright side here, guys. Oh, no. Oh, God. I don't... Oh... I mean, this... I'm pretty sure this is going to end in a tragic end, and then there's obviously bad ends off, and then I'm gonna guess there's maybe a salvation end for this one, too, but obviously we're getting a tragic end first, probably like everything else. Oh, Jesus. So we're all gonna die. Pretty much.
Cyan is no more! We have sovereign power! We will rule this country forever!
You know, when you rub it in my face that science dead, I'm a little more pissed.
The power has been restored to the Revelpois family.
In response to his wide and defiant grin, the royal family broke into hideous smiles that could hardly be called human. It was the face of evil itself.
I'm very pleased we could dispose of Cyan Brophies before he could develop a stronger liver model to fight the curse.
And I'm pleased we were able to do away with that conniving woman and her child before they learned the truth.
Now nothing will stand in the way of our reign over the country.
Pleased by their own machinations, they smiled the victorious smile of a demon. But here's the funny part. They're talking about, like, I'm so glad we got rid of that woman and her child, like Catherine and whatever. But here's the thing. The person that they were talking to, they know was a member of the royal family, which is why, I mean, I still think Salome is freaking Catherine. I feel like that's a given, okay? Don't know who the supporter is, but it's someone who's related to them because they said, we'll even let you back in. So why would, like, what's her face? Whatever her name is, Marionette? Is that her name? I don't remember. Be like, oh, thank God we killed off Catherine. If Catherine is the one that they're talking to. Who else did they kick out of the royal family that they're gonna, quote unquote, let back in? That's the supporter. If it's a totally other person. You know what I mean? But, like, so that's strange. Well, anyway. I'm just pointing out that's strange. We'll see what happens. After meeting the royal family, they sent me into a dimly lit prison cell until they could get the test prepared. It could at least give me a nice room. Jesus. The fresh blood on the floor and walls made it likely that this place was frequently used. They shackled my arms and legs with iron chains. I mean, Jesus! You could have just not. Despite their weight, I folded my hands in front of my chest. Please, I pray that Adolphe is safe. Adolphe wasn't death, and he had nothing to do with the curse. I was hoping that would be reason enough for them not to use him as a test subject like Anko and me. I looked around the cell and at the iron bars. No one from the royal guard here. I didn't even resist them in self-defense, so they must not expect me to attempt to escape. I'm death. They proved through science that I really am death. You're the one at fault after all. You killed us. Could have lived longer if you didn't exist. You made a sinless child suffer burns on his face that will never disappear. I tried to deafen the voices in my mind, but the chains prevented me from covering my ears. Damn you, Death. Some saint you are. Your existence worsened the royal family. If only you had never been born. Be quiet. You don't have to tell me that. Despair finally began to take hold of me. I had managed to hold back my tears all this time, but not anymore. Unco's offer made my wish a possibility, and Adolphe's presence gave me hope. I'd never once forgotten how many people I killed. I kept in mind that even if I did become a normal human, I would have to pay for my sins one day. But the truth that was suddenly revealed proved that I had betrayed Adolphe and Eve, who befriended me. There was no way I could continue wishing to be a normal girl after knowing the part I played in their misery. The ray of hope I had seen in Adolphe slowly began being shrouded by despair. Well, my head was spinning with guilt. I was so disgusted by myself that I felt as though I could vomit. My eyes burned with tears as I remembered the corpses of those I had killed. I would probably take judgment into my own hands if I had a knife here with me. I can't commit suicide like this. This must be God's message from heaven telling me not to escape from my sins by committing suicide. Yeah, do it in the presence of the royal family at least so that you can release the toxins and kill them. I mean, here's the thing. You release toxins that kill people. Release toxins, kill the royal family. I mean, you know, that would be the best thing to do. Because they can't come back as relivers. They destroyed the technology. I reluctantly agreed. I can't drag Adolphe and everyone else into my despair. I really hope one of the endings is we brutally murder all of the royal family. Like I really feel like we need that. I feel like that's fair. We should get that. Okay? If I was going to escape from life, it would be after I liberated everyone from my misfortune. I needed to save Adolphe, who was probably locked away like me, and Unco, who was in a terrible state. That won't save me if I cry in here doing nothing. I roughly dried my tears with my sleeve. Moving my arm made a lot more noise than I expected. The rattling chains echoed throughout the cell. Don't tell me, even if you were locked in the cell, if you were in chains and they were echoing and rattling, you wouldn't rattle them and be like, "Ooh," and pretend you were like a ghost. Even in the midst of despair and trauma and like whatever, if you were and you were like the chains are rattling around me, you would absolutely fucking, even for like a second, you would be like a chained up Victorian ghost. You'd be like, Ebenezer! You would fucking like absolutely whip that shit out. You know you would. And then you'd be like, all right, well, playtime's over now. I'm in a tragic situation. But like for a brief second, you would just have fun with it. And then you'd be like, this whole situation sucks and I hate everything. But no. Same. So, who's saying, huh? That voice. Is it you, Spacey? Huh? I was surprised to hear someone call my name in a place where I thought I was all alone. I dragged myself as far as I could in order to look through the bars of the cell. A voice. Is that you, Dahut? Dahut's locked in a cell too? Suddenly, from the cell next to mine, well, fuck. I knew it. Although I was hoping I was wrong. Oh, you're here too. I was hoping somebody was free. Oh, man. The last time we spoke, he said he would be heading back to the Institute to get more information about the Lycrises. Because, like, he was always, like, the royal family always liked him, so what is he doing in there? We each explained our situations while trying to keep our voices down. Dahut's voice was weak as he spoke. Could you imagine Dahut sitting over there and you're like, your chains rattling and you're like, whoa, whoa, and he's like, the fuck are you doing over there? And you're like, I'm sorry, I just figured I would have fun for a second, before they killed me. And he's like, that's crazy. And he would absolutely fucking do it too. You and Dahut for about 2 minutes would be just rattling chains and wailing like Victorian ghosts. That's a mental image you can have fun with now. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm just gonna just 2 hours from now, I'm just gonna be like, and I'm just gonna imagine it. And it's gonna be funny. Dahut's voice was weak as he spoke. At least he's not dead, but according to him, the royal family ordered him to get rid of Cyan and take over the Institute in exchange for their support. Because of his respect for Cyan, he avoided doing so with the reasoning that Cyan hadn't caused any trouble justifying removal. Oh. He managed to sneak into the archives himself to gather information on the Lycrises when he witnessed a secret meeting between the princess and the man who analyzed my blood from Boro's halberd, Dr. Campesine. In fact, Dr. Campesine was really Orty, the mad scientist who had committed horrific murders at the Institute and beyond. Dahut overheard that the Society of Exorcists were conducting inhumane experiments deep beneath the hospital and that they were working with the direct support of the royal family. The mysterious deaths and the disappearance of prostitutes were all planned by Campesine to fulfill his and the royal family's wishes. And now we know that they were puppeteering Jean also, and because they gave him stuff and you think Jean somehow, it was fair to think that Jean got his equipment on the black market, somebody sold it to him and he had an inside person, the same person that sold it to Capucine, okay, whatever, because somebody's getting it. But not that Capucine was like, yeah, no, I got you that equipment, sure, and you're going to help me, right? That there was a buddy-buddy system there. I like that they never brought that up, because in Mathis's route, you didn't know that at all, but it was totally seemed feasible that Jean somehow had an inside person to get him discarded equipment to be able to do this on his own. And he's a rich guy, so sure, it makes sense. And now you're and you're tied even deeper into this. But I also now feel bad for Jamil for being tortured by Capucine. Fuck. I don't even want to be like, wow, Capucine sucks so bad. He's making me feel bad for Jamil, because I was feeling bad for Jamil before, because I don't like Camille. He's a trash. He's like a little trash goblin. But Jean I love. So like, I was already giving him a free pass anyway. But even if we were like, fuck you, how dare you, like, you'd feel bad for him after the Capucine. You're like, damn, Capucine, you're making me feel bad for other villains. Even if I wasn't already, I would have. So, that's something. God, Capucine's a really great villain. Really is great. Damn, you suck. Like, I want to punch you. But, like, I'd be happy doing it. Like, man. You're like, wow, you are awful. Like, why are you smiling about it? You're like, I don't know, you're just so awful. It's amazing. Like, bravo. Damn. Like, there is villains in other games. I'm thinking of Olympia Soiree. There's a particular character that other people love, and they're like, oh, I like him. And you're like, no, I hate him with the passion of 1,000 fiery suns. I mean, there's characters like that in a lot of games. I'm looking at, we know how much I hate Finn from Steam Prison. Like, fuck Finn. Fuck him so much. I hate him more than I hate Toma, okay? Like, fuck Toma. But to be fair to Toma, I think I hated him mostly because I was not prepared for that kind of route the first game I played. Now I am, and it's like, well. Still think you suck, and I still don't like you. But I realize my hate for you, my hate boner that I have, is probably more based on the time when I played Amnesia Memories than, like, if I had played it for the first time now, I'd have been like, you suck, I don't like you. But, like, yeah, alright. You know what I mean? I don't think I'd have hated him as much. But, like, fuck Finn. Hate Finn with a passion of 1,000 fiery suns. Want to burn him alive. I like Capucine more than I like Finn. Okay. Capucine is an awful piece of trash, but he's supposed to be. So I'm like, I like you because you're awful. You're meant to be awful, and you are awful, and you're brilliant at being awful. You're supposed to like Finn. Fuck that shit. You know what I mean? I don't think you're supposed to like Kanan, though. You're supposed to hate him. You're supposed to think he's trash. I think you might supposed to feel sorry for him, and I'm like, nah, fuck you. Burn in the fires of hell, you little son of a bitch. But I don't know. But people like certain villains, and they're like certain characters you're supposed to hate. I mean, I still want a Sashin route. I really do. That man's trash. He's awful. I'm like, I don't like Capucine like that. Like, Capucine is awful, and I want to watch him die in a fire. I really do. But he's such a good villain that I appreciate him. Like, I appreciate you being so awful, because you just keep getting worse. But it's fun. Like, goddamn. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? There's villains like that. For some of them, you just make you so angry, you just want to leap into a game and strangle them yourself. And other ones, you're like, I'm going to high-five you for just being so awful and making it enjoyable. Like, goddamn, good job. And it's weird. The juxtaposition's weird, but anyway, he's a villain I love to hate. I just love that he exists. He is god-awful. I don't know. Anyway. The mysterious death and the disappearance of the okay, we already read that, yeah. It was also Capucine who kept my parents' deaths records at his hospital, which detailed where and how I was born. Dahut tried to leave quietly to inform us about it, but he was caught just before he could escape. Damn. Poor Dahut. He was later forced to meet with the royal family so he could assist with their plan. Not that I'd ever cooperate with them. It was obvious that their salvation plan was a big fat lie. Besides, if I helped them, I'd lose every possible means of saving my mother and Nadia. Pretty sure Nadia is a weird, like, hybrid puppet thing now. So I'm not sure there's a chance you could save her right now, but let's not talk about that. Dahut did what he could to convince them of another way to achieve their goals. But Dahut's resistance finally angered the royal family to the point that they took matters into their own hands and killed Cyan. Dahut, you're the direct reason he's dead? Well, I mean, I don't think that would have gone any other way. You would have been like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm going to kill Cyan. They would have killed Cyan anyway, so. It's alright, I can't really blame Dalhut. It was either he does it for the royal family or they would have done it on their own, so. You know what? It's okay, Dalhut. It's not your fault. They would have done it anyway, and I'm glad you didn't do it. Good for you. I gave them hell for killing the person I looked up to. And not just because I'm short. He didn't say it, but you know he was thinking it. It felt good in the moment, but they were so pissed off they just chucked me in here. Aww. And you've been locked up ever since. I could hear Dalhut sniffle and say he was sorry from behind the wall. I really hope you're not bamboozling us, because I just want to hug you right now, because you're like the most precious thing. Okay, Nadia's really the most precious thing, but, you know, like, for Nadia is a character who doesn't have much involvement. She's just a tragic character that's there to be a punching bag for the game. You know what I mean? And tug at your heartstrings. And then, like, Dahut's, like, got his fingers in the pot and the plot. You know what I mean? Like, doing things and helping things and, like, spurning things. And, like, you know, he's a little bit more present. So for more of the characters that are present in the game, he's the most precious fucking thing, okay? Alright? Like, Nadia's on a whole other plane. Like, she just... But, like, the rest of the characters are, like, have moral gray areas. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's got different quirks and things. Nadia's a perfect little ray of sunshine. Nothing. She's never done anything fucking wrong in her goddamn life, okay? Right? The rest of us are not exactly innocent. We've done some good things, some bad things. We're normal people, okay? And out of that group of, like, normal people with normal life experiences, adulty people, especially for the fact that Dahut's probably, like, 50, okay? He's the most precious thing out of all of us, okay? You get what I'm saying. So please don't be bamboozling me, because I don't know how I'm going to handle it. I don't know what I'm going to do if you take away my faith in you. I won't have any faith in humanity left. But it would be a brilliant move on behalf of the game, is all I'm saying. And I'm scared. Alright? I just want to be able to have blind faith in Dahut, okay? I said I wanted to help get rid of the curse, but I got caught and ended up here without anything to show for it. Worse, they went through my data and found out where the Noirge family's grave was located. They also learned that what the Lycoris Noirges are capable of, and even found out about you. How do you have data on where the Noirge grave is, though? And what I'm capable of? I mean, I get with the book, maybe, but, like, how did you... Everything I accomplished got turned against me. I'm really sorry for dragging Adolphe into my mess, too. It's not your fault, Dahut. We were being monitored by someone from the very beginning. It's only a matter of time for us, even if you didn't get caught. How does he know? But that's the thing. I mean, they also learned what the Lycoris are capable of and even found out about you. Okay, but they went through my data and found out where the Noirge family's grave was located. How does he know that? Why does he know that? But, like, if he was backstabbing us, I don't think he would have thrown that out there. You know what I mean? He wouldn't have been like, oh, they found out that where it was, because somebody directly told them. You know what I mean? And it could be because they found out because they went through his data, but I'm very curious as to why he has that data and knows that. I could hear Dahut faintly mumble words of thanks. I'm assuming the royal family got the idea of eternal youth and life from Capucine. Or should I say Orty? Dahut explained that Orty used to work at the Institute and held a grudge against him and Cyan after being exiled. He was so obsessed with the idea of creating the bride of his dreams that he genetically altered people in these cruel experiments. Yeah, we know what he does to Nadia. It's disturbing. I wouldn't be surprised if he's planning on taking part in the tests or even stealing the technology all for himself. You know what? I'm gonna throw this out there. If Capucine murders everyone in the royal family just to be able to take the technology all for himself for his sick, twisted fucking schemes, I'm okay with that, because the royal family is worse than he is, and, like, I'll allow it. Like, Capucine, as long as you kill all the rest of these cunts before you take that shit and run, take that shit and run, sweetie. I mean, I'm not saying what you're gonna do with it isn't just gross, disturbing, and we're still gonna come after you and light you on fire, but I'll give you a head start. Okay? I'll even give you a 10-minute head start. Okay? Cause like, as long as you take the royal family out before you go. That's all I'm saying. He then told me of the heinous crimes already committed, all for the love of genes and the double helix with which he was so entranced. I mean, I do love the fact that he is such a hard on for the double helix. It's nothing else. Like, it's kind of fucking bizarre, and I'm really glad they went with that and not like, oh, he saw Nadia and she was so beautiful, and you're like, ew, you're such a pedophile, that's disgusting. They didn't go that route. They were like, he's like, oh god, look at your double helix, and you're like, oh, I'm sorry, what? I mean, it's not that it's not gross and weird and fucked up, but like, what? Like, it's bonkers. So it makes it a little less disturbing and also more disturbing. It's just disturbing in different ways. You know? But they really just went all out with making this as fucking weird as they could. Even the Institute didn't know how many had fallen victim to him. Many of them children, which is that's kind of fucking gross, but I was completely appalled by what I was hearing, but then a horrible truth came to mind. Wait, wasn't Capucine... Wasn't he in charge of Nadia? Oh. Which means she's in danger! Lucas's change must also be related to him somehow. We need to escape from here as soon as possible and get her away from him. Let's escape together. Let's save Unco and Adolphe. I think we should save Unco and Adolphe because escape together feels like you, me, let's escape. That's going to be a bad ending. This is about Unco and Adolphe, or Uncalfe, as you know. So I think this is the right answer. Oh. Oh. It's not what you think. It's another third save file. Okay. Okay, so there's at least 3 bad endings. Yeah, because usually... I don't know. Were there 2 or 3 in the other ones? I think there was at least 3 bad endings, so that makes sense. Okay. But also, the last one, even though you got a bad... That was... No, well, the last one is usually that where you start to get your salvation end. So... Okay. Well, anyway, I still think it's this, so let me see. It is save Unco and Adolphe. Good for me. I mean, that one was easy. Now, can you first help me save Adolphe and Unco? I think we're going to need their help in order to save Nadia. Dallet? It's nothing. I'm sorry. I wasn't really sure how to respond. I'd love to help you, but I don't think I'll be able to do so at all. What do you mean? His faint voice was almost a whisper, absent of his usual carefree tone. I'm concerned. He sounded so unlike himself that I felt a cold bead of sweat run down my back. After taking a deep breath, Dallet finally answered my question. The only reason I was kept alive despite learning the truth is because they want me to replace Cyan as director of the Institute if their plan for immortality fails. But now that they've captured an immortal existence and have you in their hands to counter the curse, I no longer have any value in their plans. I'm sure they're gonna create a fake Cyan to fill the role they had me as backup for. Okay, hold on. I mean, he's gonna get there, but hold on. I can't help you. The only reason I was kept alive, okay, they want me to replace Cyan as director. That almost sounds like he's like, well, they want me, so if I help you, I'd be fucking that up. Which seems questionable, but okay. But then he's like, now they've got you in immortality, I have no value. So why would you not help me then? Helping me to get out and save Nadia would be like the thing to do before they just dispose of you. Otherwise, you're just going to sit here and get disposed of. Don't you think? It's not like, if I go against them right now, they'll dispose of me. Whereas if I don't go against them, I have a job lined up. They're going to dispose of you either way, so why wouldn't you bust out and save Nadia? You know what I mean? Not really sure where he's going with this. That seems confusing. I couldn't see him, but I could tell he was trying to put on a smile. I understood what he was saying. I would kill someone as death yet again. He agreed that it was a great way to get rid of the curse. He didn't laugh at my wish. He looked toward the same goals as I did. Absolutely not, Dahut. We're gonna find a way to get out of here together. Nadia was so looking forward to seeing you again, too.
If I'm gone, then they're gonna execute Adolphe in my place to set an example.
Oh. Okay. He's thinking if I get out and escape, let you get out, get Adolphe and everything, they'll use me, set the example by executing me. But if I'm not here, they'll execute Adolphe, and he's basically sacrificing himself to save Adolphe. Is that what he's doing? Dal had laughed, saying I didn't need to worry about him. No! I know I want to save Adolphe, but I don't want to let fucking Dahut die.
I've done so much to stay on their good side, so they might do me the favor of executing me painlessly.
Don't give up. I'm sure there's a way to save you, too. I thought you were going to revive your mother back into a human body. Also, we're talking about escaping and saving Nadia, so, let's get out, save Adolphe and Anko. How could they execute Adolphe in your place if we all escape together? I think he's missing a part of this plan, or I'm missing how we're not all going to escape together. I thought you were going to become a doctor and cure Nadia. Before I knew it, I was yelling with a shaking voice as tears flowed from my eyes. Even if he didn't help, I didn't want to lose a friend who had the same wish that I did. I did my best to convince him, but
I'll leave my dreams to you guys to fulfill.
I didn't have much time left. I could hear footsteps coming from afar, signaling his coming death. Only I didn't tell you about wanting to get rid of the curse.
Oh, come on now. You don't need to say anymore. I decided to help you knowing that it was going to be dangerous. I wanted to find a way to revive my mother and live a normal life with her without having to worry about the curse. How would my mother and I look if we were old? What about you and the others? Maybe we could travel to other countries one day. You all taught me the joy of imagining an unknown future. It might not have been for a long time, but it was fun while it lasted. Thank you, Spacey. Thank you for helping me remember the dreams I had given up on.
I didn't have any time left. I guess what he's thinking is if we escape and then we're running through the castle trying to find Adolphe, they're going to come and be like, Dahut escaped! Go get Adolphe and kill him before we can rescue him. It's not like, oh, they're not going to come for us for a week, you know? Okay. I couldn't stop him or help him escape. If so, then glad we became friends. Can't imagine how much support you gave me as a friend and scientist.
I never thought I'd make a new friend at my age.
Aww.
Tell you what, I have a parting gift for you, my dear friend. I can't go with you, but use the plan I had in mind and go save those important to you.
I can't believe that Dahut's gonna die, even probably in the good ending.
Please take care of Nadia, and please keep my death secret until she notices I'm gone.
I will. Dahut quietly told me his plan as the footsteps approached. Is everyone gonna fucking die in this ending? God damn, nobody can be happy in this game! I then moved to the corner of my cell to avoid suspicion. I gritted my teeth and tucked my knees in to keep myself from screaming.
Time for your execution! Come forward! Now, where are your manners? You shouldn't use such a scary word when a lady's present.
When Dahut stepped out of the cell, I saw that he was much more haggard than before. He was dragged by his chains, and just as he passed in front of my cell, he winked with his usual charm. This might actually make me fucking cry. Do your best. I could see him mouthing the words with his lips. He didn't hold a single grudge against the Maiden of Death who brought about his demise. He simply showed me his usual bright and cute smile that he had shown many times since we met. I don't know. Okay, listen, you know I'm really good at holding it back, but that was that that was very threatening. Those tears were threatening to come out, and I did not like that. It's not just like the Cyan died off screen. People died off screen. I can still have hope. They just dragged him, and he just gave us his typical wink, and you're like, stop it, that makes it worse. If you were fighting, kicking, and screaming the whole way, that's one thing, but like, just being like, cool, going up to die now, and you just wink it, stop it! God damn it! Oh, I don't like it. A few hours later, a royal family member came down to tell me that they killed Dahood as painfully as possible. Oh, no. The way they did it was, no, don't tell me! By stabbing him away from the critical areas of his body with as many swords as possible, making him suffer until he bled to death. That wasn't an execution, but cold-blooded murder by heartless, mindless demons. Our tiny little ball of starshine didn't deserve that. I think that death hits me the worst. Why? He was always so happy and cheerful, and then it just... What the fuck? Spacey wants to cry. She really fucking does. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm fighting it. Sometimes I hate the fact that I do. Because sometimes crying is cathartic, okay? Sometimes you just need to cry. But like... And sometimes... Don't get me wrong, I cry a lot. I'm a crier. It's amazing that I don't cry as much during these games, but I'm the type of person that, like, I will hold it back and hold it back. Like, nope, I'm good. And then all of a sudden, it's like you stub your toe, and then, like, all the tears you haven't cried in a year is everything, and then you're just in hysterics on the floor, and it's just like, and it's like all the tears and all the pain of everything that you've stuffed back for God knows how long comes forward, and you're like, the fuck? And it's just like a meltdown. Like... But there are times like this where it's like, I should just let it out. Just let it go. Just even a couple of tears, but it's like, nope, I will suck them back in by sheer will force. And you're like, I don't want to, though. I want it. No. No. Dahood deserved the tears that I refused to let out, okay? But, like, they were dangerously close. Not lying. Dangerously close. And my soul hurts so bad right now. God damn you, game, you're rude and I hate you. Fuck, I think that's the worst. Oh my god. The young man tossed a tuft of Dahood's hair, covered in blood, and smiled with glee. I can only hope that you'll not go against us, regardless of what happens. Or else, who knows if you might end up like him. You know what? Try it, motherfucker. Because then all my toxins will release and you will fucking suffer and die. Painfully. Can we please make sure they die as painfully as possible? Please. They don't deserve any better. They do not deserve mercy. I couldn't get angry. I couldn't yell. I needed to act like a helpless, cowardly girl. I forced myself to tremble as obviously as possible, which seemed to satisfy him, and he left shortly thereafter. After hearing his footsteps disappear, I crawled toward the front of the bars of the cell. I somehow grabbed the hair covered in blood with the tip of my fingers. Dahood. I held what was left of him close to my chest. We'll escape. I promise. I'll rescue Adolphe and Anko, and then we'll all go look for Nadia. My anger changed into strength. I'm not going to let the likes of them use me as a sacrifice. I'd made a lot of mistakes in my life, but this would not be one of them. Even if I end up dying, I want to make sure I use my life to save someone I care about. So, in the save file we just made, if we go, let's escape together, we probably escape together and then Adolphe dies brutally and, like, this game's just not gonna... It's like I gotta choose here? Like, that's not fair. I gotta save the man I love, or we gotta save our little starshine. Neither one of them deserves to die, game. You're a bitch. Rude. I made up my mind. With a silent vow, I tucked his lock of hair into my pocket. It's not like there's no backup data. Listen carefully. The Revaplat family's selfish and egotistical. Now that Cyan's gone, I'm sure they'll only get worse. Well, okay, is Cyan really gone? Because we haven't seen Cyan in Mathis's body. We don't know what happened to them. I just want to all of a sudden them just pop out of nowhere at the end. Like, no, we put all that blood around and faked it and whatever because they're diabolical geniuses. You know what I mean? I don't know that that's not going to happen. I feel like the game's going to bamboozle me and it's not going to happen, but I'm still holding out hope, okay? I don't think that there's any hope that Dahut's going to pop back up and be like, haha, just kidding, because I don't think the family would lie about brutally murdering him. I think they brutally murdered him, so anyway. That's why they're going to wring out as much glory from your existence as they can by showing you off before their experiments. That's precisely when you need to make your escape. When they take you through the Institute, find an opening right away and hide yourself in Cyan's laboratory. That's the most secure place you'll be able to hide because no one even thinks about going there. There's also a good possibility your friend Death is being kept in there. Dahut was confident that they wouldn't be stupid enough to keep him in the other labs. Cyan gave me access to unlock the door to his lab, so you can use my rights to get in. I'll try to get the royal family to send you a lock on my hair that you can use to get through the genetic authentication system. It hurts even more. He's like, give a lock on my hair to Spacey, so she knows I'm dead. It'll torture. Like, oh, it hurts my soul because it hurts to know that you're definitely dead. I mean, I knew already, but like, it hurts more to be reminded, but also, it's your little noble sacrifice, you son of a bitch. They would have used Cyan's blood to get in themselves, but probably wouldn't know about Dahut's access rights. Once you save him, look for Adolphe and escape from the Institute through the back door. As they're taking you through the Institute, keep your eyes peeled so you know exactly where to go once you get the chance, okay? And those were Dahut's last words to me. As he expected, the royal family announced that they would reveal me into the public in a few days. They deceived the masses into believing my death would bring them salvation. Naturally, the country was in an uproar as they waited, so the announcement was likely made to settle them down for now. Even if my sacrifice did nothing to break the curse, they would likely reinstate Reliver technology as a shield to prevent the country from causing a riot. I could imagine that much without needing to be told explicitly. We're gonna get to the few days later, but we all have to go take a little break and cry a little that our poor little Dahut's dead now, and he deserved better than this. Jesus. I mean, technically, we don't know that Cyan and Mathis are dead. Right now, we think they are, but it's questionable, and Eve is also questionable. But, like, you know, I'm just saying. But I think we're meant to think those three are dead, but are they? I don't know. You know, who knows? So, anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.